I had an idea for a video recently, which inspired this one, and that video was just going to be me showing my face in its entirety and talking about self-confidence. It was, however, until I started trying to record this video that everything fell apart. And when I say this, I mean I spent around 4 to 5 hours attempting to record this video, just producing takes upon takes that I hated. And why did I do this? Well, I couldn't understand what I hated about these takes, and it took me calling my brother to finally realise that I didn't have the self-confidence that I was trying to preach about. And yeah, I've always struggled with self-confidence and self-image, and just always seeing myself as unattractive. And it came down to me ultimately being afraid of how I, purely on a physical level, was going to be perceived. And I do understand that it really shouldn't matter how other people see me just based on my looks. And I wanted to try something new for this video, so I'm going to link it back to an episode of South Park that I'd like to point my attention towards this week. Season 11, episode 14, The List. In this episode, the popular girls create a list, which ranks all the boys based off of their physical attractiveness. And in the beginning of the episode, Kyle is the only one just telling the boys that they shouldn't care where they were ranked, because it's just a stupid list.
You guys, do you really care what a bunch of girls have to say about how you rank in looks?
And this kinda holds up until he comes to the realization that he is, in fact, last on the list, which just shatters his whole devil-may-care attitude.
I got voted the ugliest boy in the whole class? Who cares what dumb girls think, right?
And this really does sum up a lot of people's, including my own, feelings about themselves, because they just pretend like they don't care and that it doesn't matter until they're faced with it, in which case they fold. I do it too. And in Kyle's case, he doesn't try to devalue the list like many of us would, by calling it bullshit or even trying to insult the creators of the list by saying they just don't know what they're talking about. Instead, he, just like the other guys, takes the list as gospel and he spirals into a self-deprecating hole.
Look, I know I'm not the best looking guy in town, but I didn't think I was the very ugliest.
And Kyle as a person is just happy to conform to this way of thinking, that people have life basically handed to them because they're popular or just attractive. And this way of thinking is just an awful spiral to find yourself falling down, not only because it's self-deprecating, but because it also brings down the value of other people too, just because you may find them conventionally attractive. That doesn't mean that they haven't endured a similar amount of hardships that anyone else has. And yeah, there are people out there who rely completely just on their outward appearance, and who have only continued to seemingly be given everything on a silver platter just because of those looks. But because of this, when they reach sort of 30 years old and their looks begin to fade, it strips away the advantage that they thought they had, because now their outward appearance has changed and they have their personality tested. Unfortunately, some fail to reach the standard of just being a good person. And yeah, they were chasing society's vision of the perfect life, with all the love and admiration of a large number of people, and just being given everything they have, all on the crux of their looks. And they will finally realise that they really haven't achieved much just because of this focus on vanity. Finally, at the end of the episode, Kyle is given the chance to look at the real list and just be able to see what the girls really think about him. So what does he do with this list? He burns it. Because finally he's realised that if you want anyone to accept how you look on the outside, the inside version of you needs to accept it first. You just need to give your body the love it deserves. And I'm not going to sit here and say everyone's perfect, no one should change, because of course you should always strive to better yourself, but don't shut down like Kyle did and like I've done in the past because things don't work out. But bringing it back around to my original point, I struggled to create a video showing my face because I didn't want to look at it, and therefore I was afraid that everyone else would have the same reaction. But now I've realised that to better myself, I need to tackle this problem one step at a time instead of jumping from 1 to 10. So this is my first step. Hi, I'm Fusey. I hope you can walk away from this video with a newfound outlook on yourself and on others, even if it's just a single thought. Thank you so much for watching. You know what I'm gonna say, like, subscribe, all that sort of shit, and yeah. I'll see you lot in the next video. Love yourselves and everyone around you, and I will see you boys later.
I'm better looking than you. The girls think I'm better looking than you, Cap.